Are the Carolina Panthers, Steve, a playoff team? Let's go. 6-5, marking the first time the team has won 6 of their first 11 games since 2018. They are on a little bit of a heater right now.
Yeah, they are.
Monster performance from the quarterback we'll get to. But I remember you hitting me up like a week ago or so, and you were kind of like, I feel like they're actually playing pretty good football.
Yeah.
Like they are. And I think Dave Canales, it's kind of flipped a little bit in the national perspective when I talk to people around the league. Like, he's coaching pretty well right now in what's going on there in Carolina. Initial thoughts as we get started are what?
Well, first of all, Dave Canales is coaching his patootie off, and he's doing a great job. One of the things I really love about Coach Canales is the Panthers do a good job on social media of showing, and also the different networks of showing the speeches after the game.
I love that.
Right? Before, a lot of people don't realize. Now, they don't show the losing because there'd be a lot of bleeping and bleeping in there.
True.
But I love what Coach Canales had said that really, as a former player, I thought that was a lifeline. It was gold. When he said, hey, we had some bad plays, and I also called some bad plays. So he's now you now have a coach who is willing to point out you, but also point to himself and say, I need to be better. That's how you build a football team who will be willing to run through a brick wall for you because they know you coach has my back. Versus there's some coaches get up there and they throw you to the wolves. They throw you under the bus. They talk about this guy didn't do this and that guy didn't do that. And so I love that he said that, and he said it to the team first, which means he's not just giving lip service.
Yeah.
He's not saying it because it's convenient and it sounds good. He's being raw and uncut and transparent like he always has been. That was one of the things I thought that really stood out to me immediately. And then I go back into the game and I just see some things unfold. Like, this is the first time this year in his career, Bryce Young has had 35-plus pass attempts and has won the football game. Previous years in his short career, 0-12. Right?
A great stat.
And so that's awesome that Bryce got over that hump. But what's even more interesting is how he got there, because I don't want to say it, but I got to. Mm-hmm. The first half was not really good for Bryce, and it started to kind of be a little bit of a dink and dunk. And you know me, whether it's the home team or not, I'm always critical of a quarterback who is dinking and dunking because there's too many routes that's being ran deep for you to be checked down, Charlie. And so it was great to see some explosive plays down the field by Bryce Young. I made the statement on the radio and I'll make it again. Bryce is not throwing the ball deep consistently. Now, he's shown that he can. We know what he did in college. But thus far in his NFL career, he hasn't really taken the risky throws. He's been more of a safe quarterback. And at times that could be a little bit frustrating for Panther fans, but also frustrating for the play caller and what can he do. So it was great to see Bryce put the ball down the field, getting Xavier Legette an opportunity because it's been a little bit dicey. Some people have had a lot of things to say about him. And then going over T-Mac. First time this year, 132 yards, I believe 7 receptions. Yep. Did an outstanding job. Had a little giddy up too. Caught a deep end and got going. So that was really nice to see. Jalen Coker, he's getting back into it. But you can see that there are levels to this offense. You have T-Mac that's running the possession receiver, the number 1 possession receiver for the Carolina Panthers, running deep ends, running a lot of intermediate routes. And then Jalen Coker, he's doing this thing. And then Xavier Legette and Jimmy Horn, they're utilizing those guys. Tommy Tremble's doing an excellent job. But, man, the story of the day has to be, I called it and I said it. and I talk about it. It's going to be an interesting dynamic for the Carolina Panthers in that backfield coming this offseason. You have a couple of $1 million locked in and guaranteed for Chuba Hubbard, and you have a expiring contract for Rico Dowdle, who you don't want to let that young man go. I don't think so.
How could you?
I don't know. I've seen things happen before. Weirder things have happened before, right? So I think they have what we call rich people problems, right? They got too many thoroughbreds in the barn, and they're trying to figure out which one do we run.
No. Sometimes I don't like the idea that's a good problem to have. It's still a problem. And financially in the way you manipulate your numbers, it's going to be an issue in that sense too. To go back to where you started, I just kind of wanted to say it. I like the way Dave has coached this. I like the way Dave coaches. I like that he's getting some payoff. In the style of coach, if you know anything about Dave Canales and what you know this, Steve, the positivity.
Oh, he's super
he
positive.
Operates, right? The places he's been. I mean, he's a Pete Carroll disciple. There's not a lot of those guys.
Let me tell you, with Coach Canales, I think you understated how positive he is. The first few times I met him, I'm like, this dude cannot be this happy all the time. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
Right? He
is.
But over the time now that I popped in the facility here and there, he's kind of opened up a little bit to me and has said, hey man, these are some of the things we're working on. I was like, oh, so that's just his personality. He's always going to give you the positive first. And then, right, so he's done a really good job talking about a Pete Carroll disciple. He understands the philosophy method of being a counselor, which is a sandwich.
That's a great point.
Right?
Yeah.
Bread is the compliment. The meat is the correction or criticism. Bread is followed up with a compliment.
I've never heard that, but I'm stealing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it as a parent. And you're right. And the way he works, it's the type of coach, Steve, that if you start seeing these wins snowball, guys start going, okay, I get what he was doing. Because I was hearing that, like, practice is going well. You know what I mean? Like, the players are taking ownership. The side conversations, the extra work, the things guys are doing on their own in terms of this kind of culture he's kind of creating in the way they're doing it. And then when you get wins, it validates what he's saying. Because the other part that Dave is really, really good at, and I remember having a conversation with him when he was really just kind of turning things around there in Tampa, running that offense before he got the job. He's so flexible, Steve.
Yeah, he is.
He's so flexible.
And you don't really see that a lot. You don't see that a lot from head coaches, man.
Dude, this is my way, Steve. What are you talking about?
I've been my way or the highway.
Long. Yeah,
I've been doing this before you was born.
Yes. But he sits there and goes, wait, we have this and we have this. I can move the way I do it so we can be successful. That's a big way of how he runs this offense and the way it works. What we were waiting for, or we're still trying to see and find out, is a lot of this offense operates in what can the quarterback do and what can the quarterback not do. And we can manipulate. It's not a West Coast like strict system. It is very flexible in the way that it can work for the quarterback. And man, we've just been waiting the way they've run the football to go, when the box gets stacked, can Bryce go out there and make a defense pay for them focusing on the run the way that defenses are starting to focus on the run with the problem that you mentioned in the backfield? And what did we see? 448 yards?
Yes.
I mean, that's a franchise record right there. He had 318 in the second half and overtime.
So give it up for Bryce Young.
Yeah. Gotta give it to him.
Right?
Gotta give it to him.
And
a little banged up in the game too.
Yes, he was banged up. What I'm loving about this offense for the Carolina Panthers is we now know that this offense is predicated on running the football.
Yes.
But this is not because Bryce can't play. It is because this is the structure of the offense. It is run that opens up the field so your quarterback can see and slow down a top tier defense who creates a lot of pressure and
Certainly.
tackles for losses and sacks and hits by the quarterback, right? They're, I believe, top 10, top 5 in that category.
Oh, yeah.
And there's, what'd you say?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
We're
And
closer to the top.
it makes it, why that is important is because it's like the Los Angeles Rams, where we talk about where they just played the Seattle Seahawks, and you saw a little bit that Sam Darnold was under duress a lot, and that allowed more opportunities for the Los Angeles Rams. And because of the running game and the strong running game and staying committed to the running game, it opened up the pass in the second half that just did some things. And then you got guys getting a groove. Tommy Tremble catching that pass and get going. He is normally used as a blocking tight end and used in the fullback position. And he goes out there and gets going. Mm-hmm. It's really nice to see this team start to develop their young squad. And, you know, you're going to see some things where the next couple of weeks is going to be pretty tough. They have the San Francisco 49ers coming up on Monday Night Football. Then they have, who else do they have? They got to still play Tampa Bay.
At San Francisco.
Oh, tough one.
At home versus the Rams.
Ooh.
Bye week in 14. Then at the Saints. Versus Tampa. Versus the Seahawks. At Tampa. Which is why, and I had this, I work at The Athletic as well. We have this unbelievable metric system of calculating everything. Right now, where they sit, they're 6-5. I think they're 9th in the NFC, right?
Yeah, they're in the hunt.
They're in the hunt. They have a 23% chance right now of making the postseason.
So you know what that tells me?
Hit me.
You got a chance.
You got a chance. You certainly got a chance. You certainly have a chance.
So let me ask you though, as a former player, I'm kind of stuck in the middle with a team like the Carolina Panthers who are surging, but also too, do you really want to go to the playoffs? Do you want to go to the playoffs on the road and go play a top-seeded team that we all know those top-seeded teams could be, you know, if the Philadelphia Eagles continue if the Philadelphia Eagles continue to keep winning, they get a bye. But then after that, some of the other teams that you have to play, they're pretty stout, right? And they become complicated. And what is the real expectations if they make the playoffs that they can win a football game? And I know it's get in the hunt and we give ourselves a chance. Yes, you give yourself a chance. But here's why I ask that, because when you look at this game for the Carolina Panthers, the first half defensively was not very good. A lot of communication errors. I looked back to see what was the difference in the first half to the second half. The first half, explosive plays in the first half for the Falcons, 12 personnel.
That were happening.
12 personnel, which means that you don't have a corner or a nickel or a dime at that position. You got a Sam or a Will linebacker. So what they do, they condense the formation, put Moody in motion or put him outside, so he's going to stretch the field. And then they had Drake London in the slot, and he's running deep overs. And now you have a Will or Sam or Mike linebacker who is now covering and saying, hey, you, because that defender runs out of his area. But the problem is there's no one there to cover him because, buddy, you're the cover guy. There's no other guy over there. Yeah. So that's what happened in the first half that made some mistakes. Also, with the way Bijan Robinson was running the football, play action was right there. So that was having the linebackers creep up. And then when they bail out, when they realize it's a play action, that they're 3 or 4 yards behind and not in the spot to be in the throwing lanes. So that's just great coaching by Zach Robinson, offensive coordinators, and play calling. But then the Carolina Panthers, Avero comes in the second half and makes some adjustments. What is adjustments? Corey Thornton comes in number 31. He has length. Undrafted guy. He's comes in and becomes very active, good with his hands, willing to risk a PI, doing the things that's necessary. They have Smith Wade playing the safety position, his true position, and kind of looking over. And they were able to change up in-game alterations to help them succeed, and it threw the Carolina Panthers off. Now, one of the key things, though, and why I'm talking about the playoffs is to be a force in the playoffs, you got to get pressure on the quarterback and you got to get sacks. Mm-hmm. This team didn't have any sacks in this game.
Yeah.
And that's where that's going to get you in trouble. You can't allow the opposing quarterback to sit back and pick apart your defense, especially if you're running primarily zone defense. I travel a lot. I'm always on the road, whether I'm scouting. I was just in Berlin. But here's the thing about why I feel so comfortable when I'm away from my home. Simply Safe. It's just not some gadget or a camera. Simply Safe actually can help prevent a crime happening. It's not all this fancy headquarters. They just take care of it. They have live agents actually confronting potential criminals while they are still outside of your home. Man, that's crazy. Before they break in or commit a crime. So for me, Simply Safe has come at the right time. Because right now in the middle of the season, I'm everywhere. But one place that I know is safe is where Simply Safe is. 89 listeners get an exclusive early access to Simply Safe Black Friday sale where you can save up to 60% on any new system. There will never be a better time to get real security for your home. To make sure to get your 60% off, simplysafe.com/89show. That's right, simplysafe.com/89show. There's no safe like Simply Safe. So now the Carolina Panthers have to play this Monday night against the San Francisco 49ers. What do you think, or what are you expecting, and what is realistic for the Carolina Panthers on how they can approach this game, and then also the outcome of this game?
Yeah, Steve, I think offensively you have the opportunity. I don't know if you're going to replicate 448 yards, right? But you get a chance.
Hey, if you can,
nice. Do it. Hey, go, Bryce, go light it up. But you do have an opportunity against a group that has had an issue getting after the passer. I think Robert Saleh's done an outstanding job with the young players that have had to step in due to the multiple injuries they've had. No, Fred Warner is like one of the biggest game-changing type of injuries to any unit.
It is crazy. He is unbelievable.
I think that's one of the. I mean, I would put him and the loss of Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt as the two tackles with the Chargers as like the two biggest, more or less, injury losses to a whole unit that just can't function. That
just impacts your whole performance of your
whole thing. You just
of
can't
that
do
side
what
of
you
the
do.
football.
Yes, you just can't do what you do. So I do think with those injuries, like you have an opportunity to try to show that balance that we're trying to see the Panthers get towards. And if you flip it around, I do think you got your hands full with an offense where Brock Purdy's back. Kittle's back to who he is. We've seen CMC have an outstanding season. Ricky Pearsall, slow go in his first game back, but you saw the explosiveness and the speed was still there. He had moments where he was still open deep, and Purdy's just coming back too. So you have your hands full, I think, defensively. But offensively, you can build off of what you did against the San Francisco 49ers defense. And Ayuk's still not back. I don't even know when that's going to happen, Steve. Like, his window hasn't opened yet. It's a massive injury. So what I want to see, and I want you to kind of, take this to another level. We've seen T-Mac be arguably, he's like in the top 5 of like the focal point of a passing offense.
He's in he's top 5 focal point of the offense, leading all rookies.
Yeah.
Right.
His percentage of their passing game is out of this world.
Insane.
Yeah. So how do you build? I mean, that's what I want to see. How would you build off of that? How do you take it to another level?
So I made the statement. I'll continue to make the statement. Right, is when you look at guys coming out of college, there is a valid and there's a question mark of trying to figure out how much of his game is going to translate to the NFL and how long is it going to take. Mm-hmm. And it varies. The Jamar Chases, the Justin Jeffersons, who are drafted, they maybe look okay in training camp, and then they come out into the regular season and they're catching 150 passes and just going, on pace to be one of the fastest, youngest receivers to get. T-Mac is catching the football exceptional. And here is the burden that every true number one for each team has to have. Every wide receiver group has a true number one. It does. Now, it may be by committee, but statistically, every team has a true number one. Okay? Really makes a guy stand out as a true number one is the burden that he has to carry when running his routes. We know he's going to run a deep end, and you saw it in the play that we're running right now. It's a deep end. He catches it, boom, gets going and tries to scamper up the sideline for a big touchdown run. Get some yak, does a great job. Mm-hmm. But then in that same route you're going to run, you have to run and have to have that burden of running that deep end, but knowing that you are not getting the football, because now when he ran that deep end, there's probably an underneath route coming that can pull that linebacker or pull the defender out of the way so the quarterback can have a open lane to throw the football. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to run the same play in the same formation with the same motion or shift, but now you are no longer a viable point of the offense. You are only running that play because you need to get other guys open. And a lot of times, as a true number one, I loved my receivers, Brandon LaFell, Ricky Pro, David Geddes, right? Ted Ginn. These were guys who they had assignments and they had to run their route as if they were getting the ball, and there were times they weren't getting the football at all. Mm-hmm. And then there were times where I had to run routes for them, and I would say, yo, I got you, bro. Mm-hmm. Where there's times where we would be in condensed formation. We were in a condensed formation or a 3-by-1 where I'm at the point and LaFell's right here, or it was Kamar, Aiken, or Torrey Smith, where I'm at the point, he's right there. And, man, there were times where I would have the burst, go run the deep end, and LaFell or the guy off the ball, he had a hesitation, and then he run. But I had to outside release because that gets in that, what they call ships in the night. That would confuse the defender or get in this pathway to open it up. Well, there was times where they were lined up, and say they had like a end would come out to, or a linebacker come out to press me. We would have communication, switch. Meaning, LaFell is now running my play, and I am running his route. But I'm not running his route to get his pass. I'm running his route because I can read. Reading is fundamental. That I understand the philosophy of the offense and understand, bro, I can't get the football, and I may turn this into a bad play if I try to run this route and the quarterback throws it. So now I have to, because I'm the elder statesman, I'm the true number one, I'm going switch. And LaFell knows, all right, let me get that thing then, Smitty. And that's what happens. But then there's also responsibilities where we're playing in Tampa Bay one time, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I ain't caught a pass yet. I'm hot as fish grease. You know how when you start to have grease go and to test it out, they tell you put a little water, sprinkle, splash.
It's gonna pop at you.
Splash a little water in there. It starts sizzling. Yep. Man, I was hot as fish grease. And we had a route where I was supposed to run a go, and LaFell was running the end. Man, I went AWOL. I ran a deep end, and Cam threw me the football. LaFell said, that wasn't a route. I said, it was my route. Right? But my point in saying all this is I'm not saying it to brag. I'm actually saying it to reveal and pull back and allow you in the locker room to see some of the things that go on. And T-Mac has a lot of the volume, but he is now going to, especially against the San Francisco 49ers, where Robert Saleh knows that he needs to neutralize the top tier wide receiver that they have in T-Mac in this offense. Mm-hmm. Well, now that's where Jimmy Horn comes in, where you could utilize his speed and put pressure on the defense. And then you had Coker, who's more of possession, but he has hell of a routes, so he's going. Then you got Rico, he's out in the flat. You see they're running screens. So it's so much going on. Then like Xavier Legette getting out on the perimeter, running a deep pass. I love that he gets the opportunity to catch a touchdown pass, run a deep pass, and then Bryce throws it, because that's something that has been missed in this offense. And we saw it against the New Orleans Saints. When you don't push the ball downfield, you start to shrink the field, which also means you shrink your playbook.